So if you're in a safe space right now, that means you could be in a seated space. Maybe you're resting in bed. Maybe you're taking a little scroll and a pause while you're in your car and it's parked and you're just taking one of those quiet moments to yourself. Wherever you are, we're going to pause just for a few moments together and have our first practice. This first practice will be a sensory practice where we draw attention and awareness to all 5 senses. And then we'll also practice a little bit of a withdrawal of our senses by closing our eyes. So if you've found your safe space and you feel comfortable and are not driving, I encourage you now to just take a moment and look around and maybe just identify a few things that you can see around you. And whatever you see, maybe really allow your eyes to wander to things that spark joy. So maybe you notice people walking around if you're in a parking lot. If you're in a room by yourself, maybe you allow your eyes to wander from item to item, just noticing what's around you. Noticing the emotions that each item brings up. Maybe you're outside and you allow your eyes to wander and explore the landscape around you. Maybe the birds, maybe the plants. And just notice and take in everything that is around you. And we're going to notice our next breath in. Just while you're looking around, just notice the next breath in. And then as you breathe out, slowly allow your eyes to close. As you allow your eyes to soften and close, you're just allowing for a little sensory deprivation here as we transition to our next set of senses. So now in this moment with your eyes closed, just notice how it feels to have your eyes closed in this moment. Having the eyes closed is the first signal to the mind that you can rest. So as we tap into the rest of our senses, our mind now knows that it is in a place where it can rest and maybe even attune a little bit more acutely to the rest of our senses. So now with the eyes closed, just notice perhaps what you can hear. You might be hearing just the sound of my voice, or allow your ears to wander and explore the sounds all around you. Perhaps noticing the sounds that are furthest from you, to maybe the sounds that are a little closer. In my case, I can hear the birds chirping, the gentle sound of traffic in the distance. What can you hear? What can you identify with your eyes closed and seated safely where you are? Let's take another breath in together. Just breathe in, notice that breath, and slowly let that breath go. Beautiful. So next, just notice what you can feel with the eyes closed and still maybe even subtly noticing the sounds around you. If you're in a seated space, maybe you notice your feet grounded, touching the earth. If you're in a seated space, maybe noticing the chair upon which you sit. If you're in bed, maybe you notice the support that the bed offers you. Wherever you are, just notice all the sensations of where you've chosen to be your seated space right now. Good. Now take a breath in. Just notice everything. Breathing in. Notice that next long breath and an exhale, soften, let the breath go. Eyes still soft and closed as you soften through the body, just melting a little closer to the earth. Maybe even noticing that support that the earth or your chair or your bed supports you now. Next, we're going to draw into the awareness of smell. So some of you, if you have a cup of coffee nearby, maybe a cup of tea. If you're outside, maybe you notice the smell of flowers. What senses, what smells can you identify with the eyes closed right now in this moment? And if there are none, that's fine. Let's just notice our next breath in together. Breathing in and slowly letting that breath go. Maybe if you didn't notice or detect any smells, you can just notice the sensation of your breath right underneath your nose and above your upper lip. Just breathing in. Maybe noticing the breath as it swirls down to your belly and lungs, and an exhale, letting that breath go. Beautiful. So next we're going to draw into the sensation of taste. So with the eyes closed, we're just going to notice our mouths. Maybe noticing the sensations of your teeth by allowing your tongue to swirl around the backs of your teeth. Perhaps even the softness of underneath your tongue, the ridges of the roof of your mouth. And if you were taking a mindful pause while you were in the middle of a coffee break or a tea break, perhaps that lingering flavor of beverage is still there. So allow yourself to take another breath. Slowly breathe out. And notice a little gentle swallow even. Just calming and centering through the body. You'll slowly blink the eyes open, welcoming yourself back to the space where you are, wherever you are. Maybe even allow the eyes to gently look around. Notice if your perspective has changed from the start of this practice to the end. So this is a 5 senses mindfulness-based stress reduction technique that you can use anytime that you feel overwhelmed. This practice can take less than 5 minutes. If you would like to watch this at any time, just click save, and you're welcome to come back and use it anytime throughout the rest of the week. Again, my name is Rhonda Wilson, and I will be pausing with you throughout the month of May on Mondays, offering tips and tricks, strategies, if you will, to just find a sense of calm and centeredness within. If you'd like to give me a click or a follow, you can follow me on Instagram, social media, or on my website, Exhale Yogi, or exhaleyogi.com. Also follow, like, save, even share if you're following the Loudoun Coalition of Women and Girls page on social media. Thank you so much for joining me for today's mindfulness practice, and I look forward to seeing you next week.